What's the key to happiness? Well, there's a bunch of keys, obviously. And there are a bunch of keys at a general level regarding human beings. And there are a bunch of keys with respect to you and your particularity and your difference from others. Your place and time in the world, your personality, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so there's one particular thing I want to say here. And so I point out that there are a bunch of keys because I'm not denying that there are other keys or rejecting them, but I will reject the reduction of happiness to one key. There are a bunch of keys. And one key to happiness is positive emotions and cultivating positive emotions. And I just want to say something different to that. So that's often where people's minds go. Or they might go into material explanations as well, being wealthier or something. Okay, these are all real things. If you've been poor, you know that actually some money helps with, it's not a superficial thing whatsoever. But also, positive emotions and the cultivation of feeling good is not enough. The thing I want to talk about, which is not enough on itself, on its own either, but it's important, is strength. So it's not so much, for example, if you're sort of, if you tend to be a bit sad or afraid in life, depressed, despairing slightly, or melancholic, or anxious, or worried, it's not simply enough to replace those emotions with good feelings. One big thing I think that's true is that a big way that you deal with that is actually just by becoming stronger than them. Because the problem with them is they're perturbing you. So what I'm saying here is that it's not so much that you replace them with positive emotions, it's not that you replace negative emotions with positive emotions, but perhaps you become even stronger in relationship to the negative emotions. So they have a lot of force. The problem with them is they have force. The problem with them is they perturb you. They stress you. Now that's a power they have over you. So what if you become stronger in yourself and stronger in relation to them, so that the force that they have on you becomes decreased? They're less powerful now compared to how powerful you are. And I'm talking about how much inward strength you have. So that I find, I've suffered clinical depression when in my 20s, and I've had a melancholic nature all my life. And the last few years I've really grown a lot in strength. And I find that it's not so much that I've replaced those old tendencies, but I've just become stronger than them. So they start to rise up, and I just look at it and go, no, that's it, I'm not going there. And because I've built up, there's been a whole lot of things involved in this, but one thing is, to put it simply, is I've built up a kind of strength with respect to them, so that they just don't have that power anymore. And it's not simply, as I say, that I'm replacing them with a positive emotion. The melancholia starts to rise up, the thought or the memory or the trauma or something, and I just I smother it with a happy feeling. It's that I just look and go, no, I'm not going to let that cloud increase inside me. No. And it stops short, and it just falls back into its place. That's about building an inward strength. So things are always complicated, and actually the truth of what's going on here is a bunch of things. It is more complicated than that, but that is a big ingredient. Well, putting it in those terms as something to aspire to is an important way of putting it. It's a very effective way of approaching this. You start to just develop inward strengths, whether it's a kind of detachment or a kind of courage or a kind of knowledge that you can be really knocked down and you've experienced it in certain ways and you've just gotten back up so you know it, so that you just become stronger than these negative emotions. And that's a good place to be. That then connects with other things. It connects with the capacity to experience joy, which is a product of cultivation. You develop the ability to feel joy. You develop the ability to feel gratitude. You develop more pride, healthy pride. You develop all these positive emotions. You, if you're like me and you're very aesthetically alive, then you really bring aesthetics into your life. I mean, look at this. I've moved out here. I mean, I have felt better within 3 months moving out here than I did when I was living in the city. It was amazing. But yeah, it is also simply about building an inward strength so that you just have more kind of muscle. It's like a willpower, a kind of muscle, so that when melancholia or fear or whatever starts to rise, you just look and go, nah, you're not doing that, and it kind of just stops. Okay, just a kind of these reflections kind of come from whatever's floating through my mind that is sort of relevant to my life or to clients I've worked with. So, yeah, just something I thought was worth reflecting on today.